Hello and welcome. This is Amanda with From Where I Stamp, and tonight I wanted to share with you the What's Cooking stamp set along with the Cookin Dies. Just so you know, I put my dies in a clear case so that way I can find them a lot easier in my drawers. They just fit better in here rather than the sleeves. All right, so I'm going to use some of these dies tonight and the stamp set. You might be wondering why I have a cookbook on my desk. This is my overflowing, in desperate need of revamping, or whatever word you want to call it, but it needs some TLC, some tender loving care. And it's something that I've always wanted to do. I think I did start way back whenever, but tonight when I was opening this up, I actually noticed it says, "To Amanda with Love, Mom, May 27th, 2001. So I've had this for 20 years. My 20th anniversary comes up next Wednesday on the 16th. I think the 16th is a Wednesday. Anyway, so I didn't realize it had been that long, but this is an awesome organizer. It has these little sleeves that are 8.5 by 11, and I've gotten in the habit of just sliding in recipes in the front instead of, yeah. So I think, let's see if I can find a page here. Yeah, a long time ago, I took some crumb cake, so that the sheets need to be a little bit shorter, so I have to cut off a little bit, maybe. But this here, I just, some of our favorite meals. We don't make this one anymore. But so to have it look better, I put it on crumb cake. So I figured that I should add some stamping into my book because I'm a stamper. And it's almost like scrapbooking, but I'll show you in a minute. So I'm just going to put this off to the side for a minute. All right, so if you have our annual catalog, the May to April, so it's been out for just over a month now, and I'm still getting some new things, which is exciting. And because you can't buy it all at once, you do have to do it over time. So I'm using, on page 34, the What's Cooking stamp set. I'm going to bring this up a little closer to the camera, I think, if I can do it. And there's a matching die set. So it's on page 161, but it shows you down here, when you purchase these two items together, you save 10%. So on page 161, if you're following along, and my fingers will work. There we go. So 161, it shows you down here as well. Another idea, that's what's great about our catalog, is on page 34, there are some ideas here for you on that page. And see, they even have like a little recipe card. Or if you look at page 161, it shows you another sample, which is pretty awesome. And so the dies, and then it also reminds you that there's a 10% savings when you purchase the bundle. So it's $62 Canadian when purchased together. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side. So I was thinking about what my favorite recipe is, and it is this chocolate cake recipe. Now, I don't know if this piece of paper brings back any memories of the 6-hole punch. I mean, I don't know if planners still have 6-hole punch pieces or not, but this is from a planner I had in high school. So this is maybe 23, 24 years old, and I think it's my grandmother's chocolate cake from scratch recipe, and I don't make it enough. So I was going to handwrite this out again, but I realized that this is memories right here. And it's not like a scrapbook where, like, this has oil on it. I remember my mom having this recipe in her cookbook, and it is splattered with chocolate cake mix, a batter, all over it. So I'm going to keep that, but I'm going to trim it down a little bit because even though it's not a scrapbook, I'm going to want to keep this as a memory. Got my little garbage. So I'm just going to trim off just a bit off the top and bottom. And I don't know when this happened. I don't have any memory of that. But it's my handwriting from way back when. I should put a year on it, saying maybe. So keeping with my theme of crumb cake, I'm going to use this 8.5 by 11 piece of crumb cake. And I think we're going to put this right here. And I thought I had a picture of the chocolate cake made for my father's 60th birthday a few years ago. But I don't. So I'm going to have to make cake again at some point. So I have this 4 by 4.5 Early Espresso cardstock. And it's going to sit here, up here in the corner. So I'm going to put the picture of the cake here because I think it's pretty neat if you follow the recipe and either you can use the picture from online if you're following like an online recipe and you forget to take a photo, or if you're like me and you thought you had a photo and you don't, it's a good excuse to make it and then you can take a picture of it. So that's the plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some stamping. So this is a quick project, and later on I'll go back and figure out what other kind of dessert will go in here. But I'm going to take up this, excuse me, this part of the page with that recipe. All right, so we are going to use the measuring cups. So we're going to use these measuring cups, and we're going to use, that won't work. Maybe this one. Spatula. Nope, spatula won't fit on that one. It fits on this one. So we have blocks C and D. Okay, and that I wanted to do this handmade, or happiness is homemade, which is a pretty perfect sentiment for chocolate cake. I don't know if it's straight or not, but that's fine. All right, we'll use the dies in a minute. So, of course, purple, because it's my favorite color. Early Espresso is the closest we have to chocolate. And then maybe some crumb cake. I might use that on the spatula here. And I might put purple on here. Let's do a second purple. We'll grab some Highland Heather. There we go. And so we are going to do Gorgeous Grape for these awesome measuring cups. There we go. That is pretty dark. Let's stamp them again and see what we get. Not quite dark enough. All right, so we are going to have to do the little trick. Where is... There it is. So I have a bone folder specifically for ink. So what you do is you just press in the ink into the pad so it doesn't pick up as much. Since this is such a detailed image. And then we can take the chamois and just clean off this here. And some of the color will stay behind, but that's all right. And then we can stamp where we smush the ink in. There, that looks better. And we just stamp it again. And see how that looks so much better than that? All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to stamp the spatula. Might have to do the same thing. Let's just see. We'll try it down here. Yep. I'll have to do the same thing down here. Just make sure I'm not going to transfer any purple. Nope. And just push that ink down a little bit. Clean off the bone folder. You could use a plastic spoon or a metal spoon for that matter. I just never have a spoon in my stamp room. And then we pick up the ink. And the other thing you can use the chamois for is cleaning off just a little bit of ink on the spatula. And we'll grab some Highland Heather. And the nice part about having the image on here is you can see when inking up. Let's see how well I did. Pretty good. I like that. That's nice and clean. All right. So this I want to trim down first before I stamp on it, because I want to have that sentiment. And I think 3/4 will do it. Yep. Might be a little bit big. All right, so maybe we do 1/2 inch. Let's just switch that up a little. There we go. Just take a little bit off of there. And maybe I'll have to make chocolate cake tomorrow. My birthday was this week, and we didn't have cake. We had ice cream, which is kind of strange because we usually have cake. So now that I'm playing around with this cake recipe sheet, I kind of want to make cake. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side while I get out the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine so we can cut out these little pieces. So this is the die cutting machine. And so the nice part about using the bigger machine, you can use the little machine for cutting these out. It's dusty. Whew. Someone needs to clean their stamp room. All right. So the nice part about the bigger machine is I don't have to worry too much. I can put a few more things down to cut all at once. And the nice part is that most of these stamped images have a die that matches. So we'll put that in here. And usually what I'll do when I'm doing 2 pieces at the same time, 2 stamped images, I'll take a little bit of washi tape to make sure I'm getting that in the right location. Just like that. And then we put our clear cutting pad on top. Roll that on through. And then usually it's static cling, but not too bad tonight. So then you just take off the washi tape. And that way you don't have to run it through twice. You can run it through all at once. If the washi tape will come off my thumb. There we go. Whoops. Or not. There we go. And I love the magnetic sheets in here because I can just plop this down and it works. So now we have our 2 little pieces ready to go. All right, so back to our layout. I am going to trim this a little bit. Like so. I think I'll do the same over here. Cut in from the center first and then out from the either side. And then that way you have this nice little piece. And I am going to use a couple of mini dimensionals on here. Probably shouldn't, but we're going to do that just because. All right, so this is going to go like here. I think I'll put this like there, and some measuring cups. And actually, what I think I'm going to do as well is I'm going to stamp that bowl. Right onto my crumb cake piece here, I think. Because if I don't like it, I could just flip it over because I don't have anything glued on yet. So I'm going to actually try it because it's a detailed image as well. And I think I'm going to push that ink back down again. And try that again. Let's see. About the same. So that's okay. All right, so I'm going to stick, well, actually let's use my stamped image here. So I'm going to do something like that. So we want that to go right about here. That's where it's going now. There we go. Awesome. All right, so let's glue these pieces down now. I'm going to use some liquid glue, the multi-purpose liquid glue. It's my favorite adhesive just because I find that it sticks, it stays put, and you don't need a lot of it. So this part here, I'm actually going to use my Stampin' Seal. I wanted to make sure it wasn't the Stampin' Seal Plus because this stuff is not permanent. So I'm just going to use a little bit of it. And just a light touch is all you need when using it. I'm just going to put it in the four corners. And the lid goes on there. Because this will be in a sleeve anyhow. So it'll protect it. Alright, so that goes down there. And then I have another one of these turned upside down on my wall. So that way I can use, so the one end is what I use the most. And then you have this fine tip end that you can use for smaller objects. So I like keeping that upside down. So it's good to invest in two. So then this is going to go here. And the measuring cups are going to go here. And then this is going to go right about there. And I'll cut my photo so it's 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. So it has that little bit of an edge around it. Just close this all the way. A little bit more glue on here. Put the measuring cups. And we just take off the back. Off like this. So, do you have any recipes that you could do something like this with? Pick your favorite base color, and you don't have to have a handwritten recipe. It could be a typed one, or like I had on one of my other pages, it could be one that you took out of your magazine, a magazine of some sort, or printed off online that you found on Pinterest. So, I'm going to make cake this weekend and take a photo. And, but I'll share this up on Facebook and Instagram. But if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. so you get notified. I like to post a video every week if I can on Thursdays. So I hope to see you around, and if you have any questions, please leave me some comments. Have a great evening.